Hazel Herrington is a Zimbabwe-born currently residing in Australia. She is a multiple global award winner, a global leader, a humanitarian, a celebrity interviewer, a global speaker, a global business coach, and a global marketing and branding authority. She is a remarkable leader who delivers clear and captivating messages, and she is very passionate about empowering people to become not only economically independent and self-sufficient, but also leaders they were born to be. In this interview, Hazel Herrington talks about how to discover your purpose in life, how to brand yourself and your business, how to build your online and offline reputation, and how important to become an entrepreneur. Hazel embodies true leadership. She has empowered more than 20,000 people through youth empowerment programs, women empowerment workshops, feeding programs, and prison empowerment programs. Here she is, the unstoppable Hazel Herrington on the Barry Media Show. Hello, Miss Herrington. Thank you very much for sparing your time for this interview.
Oh, thank you, Barry. I'm so excited to be on your show.
Thank you. So I hope you're doing fine, you and your family.
Yeah, we're doing absolutely great. I mean, there are some concerns with COVID-19, but like I said earlier, is that as entrepreneurs, we need to be ready for anything that penetrates the global market or affects the economy. And that's what makes us entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are innovative. Entrepreneurs are always ready to tackle the next challenge. And that's what differentiates us from the average businessman, businesswoman, worker, employee.
Sure. Completely agree with you. Speaking of innovation, you are a business coach, a serial entrepreneur, a celebrity interviewer. Tell me, how and when did you get started?
Okay. Well, I started off as a motivational speaker and transitioned into a business coach. And this started in Zimbabwe. I'm now based in Australia. So 5 years ago, when I was still in Zimbabwe, I was working for a bank called National Merchant Bank at that time. And I'd been working there for a couple of years. And it just became boring and frustrating. I was a money market dealer at that time, and I was just getting annoyed going to work every day, same procedures, and the economy wasn't doing so well at that time in Zimbabwe. And basically what happened is that my husband and I then decided to open a simple phone shop. And this phone shop started doing so well. It was making in a day what I was making in a month. Then and then I made the decision that I was going to leave work and begin to start my entrepreneurial journey. And it's the best decision that I ever made. I must tell you that when I decided I was going to leave the bank, a lot of people, family, friends, were discouraging me from leaving my job. Because in Africa, the normal thing is to go to university or go to school, then get a job. And the majority of the population are working. And so this is something that a lot of people will go through when they're thinking of starting a job. And they'll also be facing other fears, such as fear of what people will say, which is what I was facing before I left. Fear of failure, that is going to work if you leave your job. And I decided I was going to go for it. And it's the best decision I ever made, because from then I moved on to opening my own restaurant and 3 other shops in the same building. Now, as a business coach, what gave me the passion, the desire, and the confidence to become a motivational speaker first which transitioned to a business coach, was that I was driving one day in my fancy car. When I say fancy car, it's important to describe fancy car. A Mercedes-Benz, doing so well. And I drove past the market, and there was a few women there selling vegetables. It was late, and it was going for about 7 p.m. And these women were trying to sell their last vegetables. And I decided, let me go and support them. And I went there and I grabbed about half a kg of tomatoes. And I said to the woman, how much is it? And she said $1. This grieved me because I was like, these tomatoes can't be $1, because for the same amount in the supermarket, they charge in $4 US dollars or so. And I said to her, are you making money on this? And she's like, listen, I just need this money just to survive and to provide the basic necessities for my family. This really hurt me. I bought the tomatoes and I paid what they call in African basira, which means something extra tip. But I cried. I cried when I went home and I was weeping. But that day I had an appointment with myself, with destiny, with purpose. Because there and then I made a decision that I was going to start doing business workshops. I was going to do something about it and begin to help these women to become economically independent and self-sufficient. So now here it is. It started off me doing motivational speaking, dealing with a mindset that they can become unstuck out of their situation. They can dream bigger, because at that point in time, I didn't have the entrepreneurial skills. The desire was there. And let me tell you, Barry, the desire was so strong. And it's what I call purpose, where you have a vision and a dream. It's inborn, and you just have to discover it. So I needed to discover my purpose. So when it came to this burning desire to help these women, so I moved to Australia and went back to school and enrolled at Griffith University. And what happened is that I developed those entrepreneurial skills. I'd already laid my foundation in Zimbabwe doing these motivational courses, motivational workshops, and 200 to 300 women had started coming to my restaurant. And now that I was equipped and empowered, I went back to Africa during my semester breaks, and I started holding business workshops. It was the most amazing transition in my life, the most amazing feeling, because when you begin to walk in your purpose and when you begin to do what you've been called to do, what begins to happen is that the greatest fulfillment comes. You begin to realize that success is not just about money. It is about walking in your purpose as well. And then what happened is that how I transitioned from being a business coach to celebrity interviewing is that in Australia, I invested in myself. So what happened was that as an entrepreneur, I realized that I needed to continue to invest in myself. I saw an ad on Facebook, and it was inviting entrepreneurs to come to a business workshop. And basically, I decided to go to this workshop in Australia and signed up with an organization called the JT Fox organization. And basically, their job was to equip you and empower you with marketing and branding skills. And part of this was branding by association, whereby you get branded with celebrities to boost your business. And I signed up, and my first gig with them was in South Africa. And it was the most amazing experience of my life, because I got to meet Africa's first billionaire. I also got to meet Gina Clifford, one of South Africa's billionaires. And it began to position me as a celebrity interviewer globally. Because what happens is that when you interview one celebrity, the other doors begin to open, which led to me interviewing other celebrities such as Mel Gibson, Jewel Kilcher, Jason Alexander from the iconic comedy Seinfeld, and also interviewing Hollywood actor and comedian Charlie Sheen. and I continue to interview celebrities. And in November 2020, I'll be interviewing other celebrities.
As a business coach, what kind of coaching do you provide for people? You still do it, right?
Absolutely. As a business coach, what I do is to help startups start, grow, and build profitable businesses. And my niche is working on helping entrepreneurs with their personal brands and corporate brands. The thing is that right now, especially with what we're going through with COVID-19, it is important to have an online business, because right now we've got a lot of the supermarket stores, businesses have shut down, and those entrepreneurs that have got online businesses continue to do business. And here it is, Barry, is that things are not going to be the same. They're not going to be the same. With everything that's happening with COVID-19, we're going to have more businesses going online. And as a business coach, my expertise is giving people a step-by-step guide, creating, launching, and growing an online business, which is so critical in this season. Some people are not making money online. It's because they're not able to communicate clearly who they are, what their brand is all about, and what they're selling. So it's a communication problem, because we have billions of people, that are online, and all they want to do, and all entrepreneurs need to do, is to communicate clearly, who am I? Which is where I come in with personal branding. Because if you can't articulate who you are to your client or to your audience, they're not going to buy. And you talked about Shopify and all these platforms, Magento and everything else. They are fantastic platforms to sell your product, but they are not going to help you with your content. Content is king, and explaining who you are is very important. Now, you said, how do you make money online? Number one, firstly, make sure that your brand is recognizable. Your brand is memorable. Make sure that the product that you're selling is competitive. Make sure that you are solving problems that your competitors are not solving. Do your due diligence. Do your homework before you start your online business. Maybe whatever product you're selling is saturated. It's outdated. I always say that before you get into business, if you've got a business coach, or if you don't have a business coach, first do market research. Go to your competitor's business, sit down, watch the clients that are coming in and out. This is for physical businesses. If it's an online business, go onto their website, see the problems that they're not addressing. Because if I'm a client and I'm coming onto your website and you're selling exactly the same thing that your competitor is selling, and they've been in the market for years, for example, McDonald's, and you're trying to enter the market with the same product and your pricing is higher, it does not make sense. It does not make sense. So you got to start your online business and sell something that is authentic. It's different. And when you enter in the market, common sense is that enter the market at a reasonable price, definitely much lower than your competitors. Then you attract the clients, and then at some stage begin to increase the price. So the first thing that I help my clients with is, especially if they're startups and they've never started a business before, is to help you to discover who you are as an individual. The next step is to help you define your brand, and then provide them with the tips and tools to enhance and develop that personal brand. And then the next step after that is to show them how to manage their online and offline reputation, because a lot of people don't understand that online credibility is king right now. It's so critical, because before people want to do business with you, they go and check online, who are you? Are you credible? Are you trustworthy? So we work on building that trust online. And the worst thing with any business owner is Googling them and finding nothing about them. And so we work on that. And we also work on the personal branding story. Because here it is that every company, regardless of whether you're selling watches, shoes, must have a brand story. because your brand story tells us about your product, how it started, the benefits of this product. And I also help them with their brand story. And I also help them with differentiating themselves in the market, like I was talking about earlier, because you have to have a unique, authentic brand that you can sell online to attract customers and get profitable results. The next thing that I also do is help them with their efficacy when it comes to communicating online, because I have a lot of clients that don't understand that we all have cultural differences. And some clients they need to interact with on the phone, and they need to understand different cultures, how to do business, international business. And as a global entrepreneur, I've traveled the world, and what works in South Africa, in Africa, doesn't work the same even with China. In China, before they do business with you, they want you to actually have a meal with them. The first day, you don't talk business. So teaching them some of these things. And we also look at sales. And a lot of people don't know their numbers. They're going into business and they've got no idea about income statements. So it's critical in this season and time to know your numbers, or else people can also take advantage of you. One of the major problems that we have trying to penetrate the African market and sell our products there is the cost of broadband. Africa has experienced tremendous growth, with the mobile internet, and it's very popular. But the problem is that what's not growing is, where they're not growing is with the banking system, because there's no platforms where it's easy for them to buy international products and to do international business online. And it's frustrating, and we constantly have to collaborate and work with local companies in order to get payments done for people in Africa. And in all honesty, for some of the things that I'm doing, I have to, for some countries, just decide, listen, I'm not going to offer the product because it's too time consuming. It's going to cost me more and even more time to do it, which is sad. And I think this is an area that Africa needs to improve on. My advice to African entrepreneurs when it comes to doing online business is that those that penetrate the market first become the global leaders. They become the champions in the areas of expertise. So I still encourage them to go and start online businesses. I still encourage them. When I was in Zimbabwe and at my restaurant, I still developed my website. I looked for ways to do it. I would travel to South Africa, go through all the legal channels and open a bank account and make it work. And what I love about Africans, and even particularly where I'm from, Zimbabwe, will find a way. So don't let anything limit you, and find out the opportunities that are available and go for it. And it's not so easy to start a business. And I'm able to identify with them, especially coming from Africa. When we talk about mental setbacks, it is especially very true when it comes to the African market, is that here we're dealing not only with fear of the unknown, or fear of failure. We're dealing with also cultural issues, because if nobody in your family has ever started a business, you yourself are struggling mentally with yourself, mentally first. Then you've got to deal with your family. Then you've got to deal with just the common challenges that we face when we're talking about getting the finance to start your business. So I am so passionate about working with startups and definitely not only Africa. I see it as a big challenge for me as well, but an interesting challenge, and I get the greatest satisfaction helping them to launch those businesses. I'm always coaching my clients that it's all about brand credibility and building trust with your customer and brand consistency. So when you're putting yourself out there and you're making all these brand promises, you've got to be consistent. And the fact and the reality is also not who you know, but who knows you, who trusts you. And so I worked on that area myself, and it's developed amazing results. So my clients are not only from Africa, I have clients from Europe, Caucasian clients, Indian clients, from all over the world. And what I'm going to talk about is very important to the entrepreneurs that are listening, that want to penetrate global markets with different races, cultures, and like you mentioned, is that firstly, you've got a network. The first thing I did when I came to Australia is that people needed to get to know me for themselves. And this is online and offline, which is very important. We talked about building an online and offline reputation, because some people will judge you by your color and before they even get to know you. So I knew that people needed to get to know me. And so offline, I would attend women's events, lunches. And what begins to happen is the power of reciprocal. You support me, I'll support you. So as I supported them, they supported me, they got to know me. And that was offline. Online, I started to build my online presence, and I started to network with people, join in groups, which is so critical. I see a lot of people, they come online and they think that just liking somebody's comments, people get to know you. No, join the groups, join the conversations, create value. When you begin to create value for people, they will gravitate towards you, because people are looking for value in everything that they do. And one thing that has differentiated me in the marketplace is that I've never been driven by money. Money is important, but I did a lot of work in the community. So you online and your focus is only to make money. People, you're not different in the market, because people gravitate to people that are interested in community building, even though you definitely want to make the money. And that's what differentiated me in the marketplace, is that it's important. I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also supporting community building projects, working with youth, working with women. So it grabbed the attention of a lot of people. And so that's what I did. When you need to discover your purpose in life, is the first thing that we do when we're starting with the personal branding program, is some people don't even know who they are. And there's what I call the copy syndrome, is that they're just starting businesses, and just by watching what somebody else is doing, if it worked for them, it's probably going to work for me. But the reality is that when you begin to walk in your purpose, and purpose happens through a self-discovery process that I go through. We look at those things that you're passionate about. And 90% of the time, what I've realized is that what you always wanted to do when you're young is usually what your purpose is. So the first step that I go through with my clients to help them to discover their purpose is to answer the question, who am I? And to discover who you are, you've got to write down these 5 points, which I learned from Dr. Miles Monroe. Who am I? Where do I come from? And what's my purpose in life? Who am I called to? And I realized that the majority of the time, your purpose, you've always known your purpose. The majority of the time when you were young, and some people say, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a doctor. You know, they knew what they wanted to be. It was a natural instinct, and they played out. It was within them. But then we end up growing up, and then people start to tell us what we shouldn't be and what we can be. And when you go back and we start to, on our self-discovery sessions, they'll always say to me, the majority of the time, I'm talking about 80% of the time, I always wanted to do that when I was young. And then something happened along the way. So what I would say your purpose is normally that which makes you upset in society, that when you see something is going wrong, you know, that burning desire, I talked about that burning desire to help women to become economically independent. Follow that leading, follow that passion, or something that just comes natural. If you're very good at painting paintings and it's self-taught, that's a natural gift. Pursue that. That's your purpose. If you if you just have a natural desire to help people when it comes to helping them, providing clothing and doing charitable work, you're called to empower people and to help people. It's that inner knowing, that inner desire, that inner passion to equip and empower in a certain area.
So what are some of the challenges you're going through right now?
Like I mentioned earlier, the challenges that I'm going through right now is penetrating the African market because they're limited by the internet and access to the internet. And sometimes it's so expensive, it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the challenges I'm facing right now is definitely COVID-19. Planned your whole year, my whole year, and then having to now change the dates for my events. That's very frustrating. And these are the things, the challenges that entrepreneurs will face. Sometimes it's lack of, the technical skills. Is that you want to do so much, but I lack the technical skills, and some of it is very expensive. And so as an entrepreneur, you've got to find ways to do it. And I realize is that I've got all these fantastic ideas, and sometimes you want to do something so big to equip billions and millions, and you just don't have the finance to do it. So I think for me, the biggest challenge I have is that I've got a great vision to equip entrepreneurs globally, and it's just lacking the finance to do it at that level.
You're also a celebrity interviewer. I like that part a lot. For you, for instance, what is it like to interview famous people?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And I forgot to mention that as one of my businesses. Here it is that the first time you interview a celebrity, you start struck, and it happened with Mel Gibson. The first time I interviewed him, I remember I was sitting and waiting to go on studio and interview him, and I was weeping. I couldn't believe it. I was crying. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And because I'd been trained, I'd been equipped to do it. And what happened is that, I call it starstruck, and I was nervous. I wasn't sure if I was going to ask the questions properly. So what I did is that I had to get myself together, and I cleaned up, fixed my face, and went on stage. And I froze at some point. But you know what? Those are the things that make you better in the future, because it develops that entrepreneur muscle that I call, because your next interview gets better the more you do it, the more relaxed you are.
So to what do you attribute your success, Hazel?
Yeah, fantastic question. The first thing I would say to people is that without the Lord Jesus Christ, I'm nothing. I'm nothing without him, and I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a Christian, proud Christian. I believe in the power of prayer. And for me, that is the first key to my success. And the next thing I would say is that I've invested a lot in myself, and the people that have helped me to be where I am today is definitely the support of my family. My mom's always been a big encouragement. And in the business circles, I am so grateful, to my coach. I believe that every one of us, we need a mentor or a coach who will take them to the next level. I had started my brand and laid my foundation in Africa, and my brand has now gone global. And if I had not joined the JT Fox organization and got coaching from JT Fox, I wouldn't be where I am today, He's different, he's unique, he's traveled the world, he's got thousands of clients. But one thing that I learned from him is that he's not afraid of any challenge. He's fearless, he's a fearless leader. And there were a lot of things that I was afraid of. We're talking about going global, penetrating global markets, and the fear of putting myself out there. And I'm talking about global platforms, because I wasn't sure the people in this country, will they like me? Will they find value in me? And, this man goes to every country, fearless. Whether they like me or not, I'm going to go and just be myself and deliver. And that has empowered me greatly. And right now, I can go anywhere and I'm like, I'm here, I'm authentic, I'm different, I have something to say, I'm a brand and I'm proud of this brand. And 25% in this room will automatically not like me because of my experience. 75% of the 50% I will speak to and they'll like me. Of the 25%, they need convincing. Let's do this. I learned that from him.
Before we end this interview, do you have anything else you want to say?
Yes, I do. You know, we do a lot of interviews and somebody's listening to this podcast and they trying to make a decision in life, whether to start a business or they're discouraged and demotivated, or they listening to this podcast and they're like, you know what, I know she's saying this, and they've already made up in their mind that they're not going to do anything about it. I want to encourage everybody that's listening to me that is thinking of starting a business, that's discouraged right now. Their business is not doing well. You're thinking of quitting, or you're not convinced, or you're saying there's this persistent thought in your mind that I'm not going to make it. I want to encourage you that even if you do fail, you learn from it. I started my business, with the phone shops. We failed along the way with other businesses. I didn't speak to you about the businesses that I tried, that failed. But you learn from your mistakes. And that's where the expertise comes in. Because experts, you can't be an expert if you did not fail. So what if you failed? Start again. But hear me. Success in life comes with getting a mentor and a coach. Why? Because they've been where you want to go. They have the networks that can help you get to where you want to go faster. And you're watching this and you're saying, I don't need a business coach, or I don't want to do that business. I'm afraid it's not going to work. These two things I want to advise you. Don't quit. Get a coach. If you fail, get up. If you failed, get up again. Arise, overcomer.
Yeah, so you recently was recognized for, Global Goodwill Ambassador. That's a big thing. How do you feel about that?
Wow, I was blown away. I've actually received 5 awards this year. The other one is the representative for Australia for the World Humanitarian and Human Rights Foundation. And also I also received the Global Entrepreneur and Impact Award in Zimbabwe for my work in Zimbabwe. I also received the Pan-African Legend Award in America in Dallas. I've also received the World's Greatness Award for Life Achievement Award, and I also received an honorary doctorate for my work that I've been doing with women and youth. So I'm proud of all these, for being recognized for all these. And just this week, I've been recognized as one of the Women of the Year in Australia, specifically the area of Gold Coast. So I am blown away, at all these accolades and awards that I've received this year. Words cannot express, my joy. When I started working with women and youth and empowering women, the poor, people in prison as well, and youth, I wasn't doing it to receive these awards. I was doing it because it was my purpose and my desire, to help society and for my community. So I'm so grateful.
Yeah, hard work always pays off. You're right. Thank you, Hazel Herrington, for a great interview. I do appreciate you. Thank you for sharing all this wonderful information.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to my guest, Hazel Herrington. Thanks to you for listening. The Barry Media Show takes you places that you have never imagined. The Barry Media Show inspires you and gives you the fuel needed to make your dreams a reality and take the future into your own hands. Please leave a review. It will definitely help. You can find me on Instagram at Barry Medias and on Twitter at Barry Medias.